21, Kyle Seyboth, and live and in studio, we have Glenn Rhodes. Glenn, how you doing?
Hey, TJ, I'm good. How are you today?
Doing great. So, just started as a realtor.
Yes, sir.
How many weeks, months, years?
So, I'm 52, and I've been doing many businesses, but this is new for me. Actually, I started my career as a CPA down in Houston, Texas, for KPMG Pete Marwick, doing mostly oil and gas deals.
Okay, not Enron though, right?
Not Enron,
okay.
But also building cogeneration plants.
How many times a day do you get asked that?
I know people that work for Enron. But in oil and gas, big projects, so lots of joint ventures, and so I know a lot of people in the industry. But I also worked for, in Detroit, a gas company that was building cogeneration plants, and that's how we get most of our electricity these days, from cogeneration plants in areas of the country that has a lot of natural gas, not New England, like Canada, Texas, and Pennsylvania. And that's how the electricity comes to us from our utilities out here, National Grid and Rhode Island Energy, who is a division, the new utility from Pennsylvania, PPL.
Okay.
Enron, you are dating yourself.
Enron. Well, that was a big deal.
How long ago was that, though?
99?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah, I know. But
some of the agents that we have now were born in 90s.
Really?
Yeah, but 2000s.
Yeah.
I've got a couple agents born in the 2000s.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Are they baby agents?
20 years old.
They're baby agents?
Babies.
Would they have a baby on board sticker on their car? It's actually them?
They were the baby.
They're the baby that's on board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their mom drops them off.
So, accounting, energy, now real estate. What made you decide to get into real estate?
Yeah, so for the last 4 years, I've been working for Trinity out here in New England, mostly in Rhode Island, sometimes in Massachusetts and Connecticut. So New England, and I've been selling and installing and servicing probably about 300 installed customers with integrity. Trinity is a private company. We're different from others. And so I don't have to chase corporate goals. I essentially try to help my customers the best I can. And as we see our government, as we see our rates up here, we have a very high rate problem, and it's getting worse. Everybody in Rhode Island's just gotten the email from Rhode Island Energy where they're proposing the supply side of the bill goes up another 10 cents. Another 10 cents is going to put us over probably 31 cents. We will probably be the second most expensive place in the nation to buy electricity, only behind the island of Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Hawaii is like at 41 cents, and as Hawaii's seen more and more rates go up and up and up, we've seen more and more solar get installed. So I project that this is going to happen. This is what our government wants to do in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts, in Connecticut, and what the federal government wants to do with the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA we call it, where the federal tax credit's going up to 30%. So the projects out here they have some of the best paybacks in all of the USA, especially Rhode Island.
Really?
Rhode Island is actually leading the nation in the transition to clean energy. You saw just a few weeks ago the governor sign into law what Gina Raimondo had started as an executive order back in 2000, taking the offset of all of our energy used in Rhode Island from renewable sources. And so 100% offset, that is big, and it's going to mean more renewable projects come online here.
So is that private sector? So is that, like, for me as a homeowner, if I decided to get solar or, I don't know, is thermodynamic even a option for a homeowner? Some other kind of, like, renewable energy source, you're saying there's tax credit for those people, or is it mostly corporations?
It's for actually residents. So there's a resident, you can do residential solar, and you can get a tax credit, 30%, for any solar PV that you put up on, hopefully on preferred sites like roofs, like carports and landfills and stuff like that. We don't want to see deforestation.
I can't put like a backpack on my dog, like, walking around the solar panel.
No, I got 2 German Shepherds, so I wish I could.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a lot of money out there from governments, and really what my specialty at Trinity is to maximize. Can I get you the state grant? Everybody in Rhode Island is actually paying a renewable energy distribution charge on page 2 of their bill in the delivery section, and that goes to fund a small scale residential grant in Rhode Island that this year can be up to $5,000 from the state of Rhode Island. Then you can get the tax credit on top of that, and there's new guidance from the IRS that says take your tax credit on your gross number, not the net number after the rebate from the state, and that can get you more money, 30% more now, thanks to the passage of the IRA into law, that's going to extend that 30% tax credit for another 10 years. So we're going to see more and more of this out here. And I saw an opportunity to move into real estate with Century 21 and Kyle's team. Because I saw Kyle, frankly, on TV, and he made a lot of sense to me. And I used to be a brand manager at Unilever, and I respect his brand. I love what he's doing with it. He's the number one realtor in the nation.
When you saw him on TV, was it America's Most Wanted again? Because they keep on playing that one. Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
I think it was the I-Team.
Oh,
yeah. That's a great source for him to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I saw him talking. It made a lot of sense to him and the people I was living with, my family. And so I talked to them and said, let's make a move. More than 2 years ago, Zillow, we all know Zillow, right? Did a big study back in April of 2019, and they found that across all the data points in the USA, solar homes were selling for 4.1% more than regular homes. And at that time, across all the USA, the average rate of electricity was like 12, 13 cents. We look at what we're going to out here in October. It's going to be here in winter. This is coming. People are going to get bit in October by these rising electricity rates. And we're going to be paying probably 31, 32 cents out here per kilowatt hour.
Wow.
It's high.
So why would your electricity go up in the winter?
Because lights are on longer, because it gets dark.
But wouldn't your electricity be more in the summer with central air?
It's actually because the price of the feedstock, natural gas, goes up in the winter because people are heating their homes also with natural gas.
Yeah.
So there's a huge demand on natural gas. So natural gas now makes most of our electricity. So the feedstock gets higher, and the utilities who just buy it from the plants that make it, mostly in Canada, Texas, and Pennsylvania, they have to pay more and more and more. And then when they ship it back, there's line loss across the system and at the transfer station. So it's just it's a kind of old, outdated system that we're kind of locked into. And if you can qualify to get your energy from your roof, it's a whole lot cheaper. And this has all been proved by the federal government.
So if someone wanted to, and we spoke off here a little bit, like I said, I've always been interested in doing this. A couple things have stopped me. One is, what's going to happen to my roof? I hope it doesn't get wrecked. Another one is efficiency and kind of knowing or controlling who gets what. Because I know there's different ways that it works. Like sometimes you put the solar panels on your roof and you're basically just holding it for people who you don't own it, but the company owns it, and you get like some kind of credit. And then sometimes you own it, and then you have a little bit more control, but you still can't make money on it. What's the best case scenario for someone to put a solar panel on their roof and use it?
That's a great question, TJ. And actually, there's not really one size that fits all. And that's why in Rhode Island, if you go to the Rhode Island Energy Office website and look up the solar tab, you'll see there's actually a guide, a PDF. It's like 28 pages that basically takes you through the different options and how you can go to solar in Rhode Island. And my job is, I work for Trinity. I got my W2 from Trinity. I've been doing that for 4 years. But I'm also a solar stakeholder with the state's Rhode Island's Energy Office. So I sit on quarterly Zoom calls, like 4-hour Zoom calls where we update each other and we hear updates from the utility on what's going on and how this is evolving. Because as we see it now, another thing, it's not just solar, but it's actually adding the capacity to store it. So I just added recently, like 2 weeks ago, 2 Tesla Powerwalls into my house as a retrofit because I have solar on my roof from 2019. Got from Trinity 2 Tesla Powerwalls, got now that backup, and I enrolled in the states. The state's trying to build what's called a virtual power plant out here, a VPP. This is a Musk idea. So it's basically during what's called a demand response program during the summer between 2 and 7 p.m. If you bank up that power and you store it and you let the utility, Rhode Island Energy, drain it when they need it most, then they'll write you a fat check at the end of that summer, probably around Halloween. I'm hoping to get that my first check. It's a 5-year program, but they're committed to extending another 5 years. Basically, the sources that I respect, like the state, the big utilities, big manufacturers, Tesla, Generac. I mean, these are big entities. They are very bullish on this program, and they're saying that if you go to Energy Sage, on the web, you can find a very good writing and reporting about this. They think that the state incentives from the utility and the federal tax credit at 30% will pay for these these storage devices, batteries, over the next 10 years.
Buying or selling real estate can be very confusing and difficult. That's why you should trust Kyle Seyboth with Century 21 Realty. He serves Rhode Island and Massachusetts and has been a top broker in the state for the last 7 years. He specializes in residential and commercial real estate, helping buyers and sellers alike. He will help you make this transition very easy. You can reach Kyle day or night at 508-726-3492 or at theseyboth@gmail.com. Let Kyle and his team at Century 21 help you today.
Welcome back to the Gimme Shelter Radio Show. My name is TJ Curran. I am a branch manager and loan officer with Semper Home Loans. With me, as always, mega agent, Century 21, friend of the people, Kyle Seyboth, and live in studio, we have Glenn Rhodes. Glenn Rhodes, new agent, but trusted solar advisor. And we're talking a little bit about solar right now. So a lot of information right before the break. Want to kind of get back into it and see if we can kind of break it down and make it a little bit more manageable for people to digest, because they're listening with their ears. And I'm sure no one is taking copious notes except for Kyle in the corner. So when
the Saints come marching in.
When the Saints come marching in, I'm going to be there in that number. When the Saints come marching in. So people get solar power. They get it on their roof. And you're saying they can actually have some kind of battery mechanism to store sometimes to sell back to the state. You said that they would potentially get a check. Say, and again, I'm not holding you to these numbers. We just want to get a broad idea for the listener. Say you did it for the summer, like you just said you did it for summer. How much are you expecting, ballpark?
So I don't have all the data yet. I'm pretty data driven, being an accountant. But the state National Grid put on their website that their guidance, and this is not guaranteed. This is a performance break,
right?
Based on system configuration and size. How many kilowatt hours can you store up in these? And so with 2 Teslas, I'm able to store up 27. If you get a Generac with 6 batteries in the cabinet, you can store up to 18 kilowatt hours. So I got 27. So
you have the wall battery, like the big Tesla wall battery? Okay.
2 stacked up in my garage.
Okay, sure.
You want to put them in the garage because then you don't need to build. Every town's treating this a little different because it's new. Every authority housing with jurisdiction treats it a little different in terms of the permitting process. So it's a little bit of the Wild West out there.
Sure.
But I was able to get 2 installed in my garage without having to add any fire resistant case. The problem is you see a lot of pictures of these sitting outside. Those are mostly in California and climates that are a lot warmer than we are. You don't want them sitting outside in New England. I can tell you right now, the power will be drained and it won't perform as well. So yeah, you can get, I think, the utility is saying $1,500 check. I've seen other estimates higher. I'm using 3 data points now that put me at about $1,800 in this rebate or this incentive check from the utility.
Okay, so you're not going to get rich on this, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Well, with the 30% tax credit, that helps out too.
Sure. So all right. So 30% is tax credit. Let's go back to.
It's cheaper than adding a regular backup generator, from driven by propane or gas, which you got to pay for, which also has to be maintenance. None of that happens with the green solution. It's just basically there backing up power, and at nighttime your house is going to run off of that. During the daytime, your house is going to run off the solar, and the solar is also going to fill up that battery during the day during the defined outage.
And so, but you can also have an option. So it can act as a generator to help power the house, but it can also be an energy source for the energy company to use when they need it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's help pretty cool. Make it stronger and cleaner Rhode Island. Now,
to get a little bit more specific about how the kind of nuts and bolts. So you meet with someone like yourself and you kind of go over what's best situation for you. But say you buy the solar power to put on your roof. Do you now own the electricity that comes from it, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And you benefit from every kilowatt hour that comes from your roof.
Okay, so it does. And again, I don't know a lot. I just know enough to be dangerous. You power your house, and then whatever's left over can be sold to the energy companies?
Yeah, so it's actually the best program to get in and out here. And there's 2. There's an old program that's not good anymore, which came from Germany and should be retired, called REG. You want to be in what's called net metering. That's the newer program. So net metering, if you remember how the old cell phone rollover minute programs worked, where you would bank, and you make a longer call and pay for it, this works the same way. So basically, when the PV solar system goes on the roof, that's going to create DC on the roof, hits an inverter next to this new meter that they put out there, that changes it to AC. Then it will actually power your house first all day long when the sun is out. And then any extra, let's say the springtime, because you're going to be producing more when you're not running your AC, right?
Right.
And so then basically that goes back to the pole, and you see your net meter that they put out there. They've taken away the old meter. They swapped in the new net meter. It's did a bidirectional meter that can go both ways. You want to see it going backwards. That means those kilowatt hours are going to the pole. They're selling it to your street to help with a shortage out here in Rhode Island.
Right.
And that helps with that. And
Okay.
basically, you build up negative net meter credits every month. And then when you start turning on your ACs, you start pulling smaller black bars than last year, and you pay for it that way.
Okay. So I think I understand, and hopefully the listeners out there understand as well.
He knows the stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean,
There's a lot to hear. You want someone to come out and tell you how.
Real granular
Yes,
on this.
sir. There's a lot to know, but you want someone that can come out that has a good reputation.
He is a solar human being.
I just plug myself into the grid for energy.
Exactly.
I don't need calories are a different energy source.
That is not
than kilowatts. So, all right. So this is all really helpful. Really, so you could potentially not only not pay an electric bill, you could also actually make a little bit of money and get a tax credit. And so why don't more people do this? Is it just kind of fear from...
But there's a loan. This is what I see that happens. It works.
Kyle's awake, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
works phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's an awesome process. It's an awesome product. It's a great idea. Practically speaking, when they go to sell the home, this is when it screws up.
Okay.
I've had this kill so many transactions. They either have a loan that's they either have a huge loan that they have to carry with the new buyers. So let's say they take out a $40,000 loan to put the solar on, because sometimes it incorporates a new roof, right? So they put a new roof on, install the solar, the loan's $40,000. I've had some people that sold, and if they sold the house 5 years or sooner than when they put the solar on, the loan like balloons up. It was insane when these people tried to buy it.
Yep.
But let's say that's not even in play.
Right.
So now the new buyer has to qualify for the price of the property with the debt service on the loan plus the debt of the loan.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if you're approved,
Or you have to transfer, if it's a lease, you have to transfer the lease. That's
but it's still
complicated.
debt.
No, I know, but sometimes complicated. It's just something. Because
I've seen people that are approved with $300.
Yeah.
They have the $40,000 solar loan. Now it screws everything up.
So here's how I get my customers away from that problem, because you're right, that problem has been a problem in the industry for years. But so when you do something with Trinity and my team, basically I'm also always the champion of the customer, both for getting it up and working, but also helping them financially. And so I want my customers to, like, the right way to think about this is, first, if you can pay cash and pay it off, what is your payback? And if that payback, I can get you a payback if you got a good roof in the 5th year. In the 5th year or 6th year, that's phenomenal for a home improvement project. Getting a payback that's fast. So I'm consulting my customers to either pay their loan off earlier so they can hit that payback faster. Get away from the interest, friends. Get away from the interest. Pay this off so you own it outright like I do, and then you'll get a 25-year warranty with my partner, who's got on the New York Stock Exchange. So basically, the right way to do this is that if you can afford it. Now, if you can't afford it, I tell people that our finance partner.
So you would tell someone pay it off in cash and have a 5-year payback.
I would say if you can afford it and you like that as an investment, do it, but get away from the interest. I mean, I can write interest at 2 levels when I do this. And they're not bad rates anymore because rates have taken off. What I can get you, I try to minimize what I have to send my finance partner, the dealer fee or the we call it financing
Use Mosaic?
fee. No, we use Sonova Energy on the New York Stock Exchange, Nova, N-O-V-A, and I know the CEO there. And they're a big company. They run a dealer network. Trinity's the biggest dealer back in, we drive a lot of their business.
So what's the typical out of cost for someone, whether it's a loan or
let's say
it's going to depend on the system size.
Let's say you come to my house, you knock on my door.
Yep.
I want solar. I want to add panels. I've got a 1,500 square foot cape. What does that look? My roof is fine. What does that look like with Trinity?
So, it depends if that person wants to do what I call program A or B. B is ownership. If you want to own it, then there's going to be an acquisition cost. So I try to limit that, reduce it as much as I can, get you the lowest acquisition cost, and I show you the route to that so you can reach that payback like in 5 years. Then you own it outright. Someone comes to your home. There's no an electric bill from what's coming from your roof. You got a 25-year warranty behind it from a public company that's got a lot of good reviews. And so that's a good way to sell your home. That person is going to see bigger offers for their home because they own the system. Now, if you can't afford that and you don't have a tax appetite, then the lease might be better for you. We call it the Solar Purchase Price Agreement, or PPA. The PPA is very common in this industry. If someone builds what we see more and more of these wind turbines, right? Like, and those wind turbines, they sell their electricity to mostly businesses and institutions like Brown University with wind PPAs. But when we go into residence areas, towns, they don't allow windmills or, wind turbines. So we have to look at solar, and then we can do a solar PPA where that person's just switching their service. Their primary service is still backed up by the grid, but they move to us. They move to us because we can get them a lower rate, and it goes up less than the utilities out here. They've been going up 4 or 5% each year. Now they're like going over 5% lately.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back after these messages on Gimme Shelter Radio Show. Welcome back to the Gimme Shelter Radio Show. My name is TJ Curran. I am a branch manager with Semper Home Loans. We do mortgages. With me, as always, mega agent, Century 21, Kyle Seyboth. And in studio, Glenn Rhodes, new agent, also with Trinity Solar. We learned a lot about solar today. Glenn, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Absolutely. They can go to my webpage, which is www.gogreenwithglenn.com. My last name is Rhodes, like Rhode Island. So if you type Rhodes and solar in Rhode Island, I'll come up to the top. I love it. Google SEO, brings me right to the top on keyword searches. So you can find me pretty easily out there. My phone number is also 401-903-0869.
He also has a geo-tracker on him if you want to try to find him using a geo-tracker. Kyle, that was a joke. Kyle, if people want to get in touch with you.
If you want to call me, you can call or text me, 508-726-3492, facilitating any sort of buyer or seller looking to participate in real estate. We're here for you. We're here to help you. We're here to guide you and be a value-added proposition along the entire process. And I love what I do. I enjoy it every day. And as passionate as Glenn is about solar, I am just as passionate about real estate. And TJ, if they want to refinance, get told jokes, or do anything else.
If you want to buy a house, or if you'd like to refinance your house, restructure your debt, or if you just want to talk to me about, I don't know, whatever. My number is 401-258-8523. You can call or text 401-258-8523. All right, so we learned a lot about solar today. We learned it could be beneficial depending on, your specific situation, but you probably want to talk to Glenn about it. Kyle, do you have solar panels at your house?
Do I have solar?
Yeah.
I do not have solar.
Do you have a house?
I do not have a house.
Okay. You're building a house, though, right?
I am, yes.
Are you putting solar panels on them?
I am not sure.
Are you just going to power it using your Peloton?
I think that's wind turbines. I'm gonna attach a turbine to the Peloton and go that route.
That'd be good.
I don't believe I may not have electricity.
I believe that.
Right?
Yeah, you don't need it.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, I need all this stuff, and I need this furniture, and this, that, and the other thing, and we were in the house or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? I really don't need anything.
No.
I could live in a house and have...
You need a car. You need a car.
I need a car.
You need a car.
And a bed.
And a phone.
And a phone and a laptop.
Right, because you get home, you go to bed, you get up, the sun's already,
And a Peloton.
sometimes the sun's up.
Peloton.
You do need a Peloton, so you do need a little bit of electricity.
5 things.
Maybe you can put a solar panel on the Peloton.
Yeah, it's
That would be it.
But honestly, like, I'm probably as minimal as anyone I know. I could live with water, Peloton, a bed, and a car, and a laptop.
And protein bars.
And protein bars.
Protein bars.
And I'm good.
Yeah.
Pretty simple stuff.
That is pretty simple. You are simple.
A very simple man.
Yeah, simple man.
But anyways, yeah, a lot of people need a lot of things. And to his point about solar, am I going to put solar on? I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
I'm definitely going to get...
I tell you where I will want to work with you. I'm buying a mill that's 88,000 square feet, and we're putting residential units in the mill.
Ooh.
And I'm definitely thinking about putting solar on the entire roof.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Pawtucket. I mean, it's huge. And that would be an awesome project for us. Also, I'm looking at, I linked up with these guys. I don't want to get into this too deep, but I'm going to now. I linked up with these guys that buy land, and they want me to find land and help them do these solar projects.
Yeah.
Where they buy, I think it's 7 acres or more. How many acres do you need for like a big...
Solar farm.
Yeah. Solar farms are sticky because more and more towns are opposing them.
Yeah.
Like they've been outlawed in Warwick. And so it's something I follow closely. And I can get you information on that. Just know that it's not as easy to do that as it used to be. Those days are kind of right now gone. But maybe they'll come back with the passage of the IRA, because that's going to drive a lot more renewable.
He was talking about how much they get per kilowatt and what they can sell it for. Mm-hmm. He's got this whole model anyway, so
it's tough.
Definitely, he said it's harder.
That's why I said we like it on preferred sites. States like it on preferred sites.
Way harder.
Much easier on a rooftop.
Well, like I said, in Pawtucket, it could be a really good...
Yeah.
You might want to talk to the cell phone tower people, too.
Uh-huh. We'll put everything on that.
Yeah, just put everything. Hot air balloons.
Everything.
Ferris wheel.
I also wanted to just add one thing there, because I know that more and more people are, doing what I call the PPA, the solar PPA, if you're looking on the internet in Massachusetts, where actually a lot of the state incentives flow back to us, where they don't do that in Rhode Island for that program. And there's actually a pretty easy way to exit that on sale when you do it with Trinity and Sonova, because Sonova has a transfer group for real estate purposes. So if you're in any kind of agreement with them and you sell your home, they'll take out no charge your name off the agreement. It's a service agreement. They'll put the new buyer on. So that's a pretty easy way to do the transaction. Now they also, after the 5th year, write you the option to buy. It's like a rent to buy type situation, and that number comes down as you're making these service payments. So like as an accountant, I looked at it, and after the 10th year, it starts looking like pretty good math. Like after the 15th year, it's because it's going to be cranking energy. After 25 years, you still got 89%, and there's 100% production guarantee with that one. That's what's really cool, because that's the value of a PV solar system, is the production that comes into the house over the years and gets the family away from paying those higher rates to the utility.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of good information. We have to come back and talk about more, because we've run out of time. But thank you so much,
absolutely,
Glenn, for coming in and learned a lot today. Kyle Seyboth wanted me to tell you guys that if you're having a barbecue this Labor Day, don't invite him because he doesn't eat food. But if you are serving barbecued protein bars, he will come by.
Buy him there.
He's there. So thank you so much for joining us. Always thank you for listening. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you next time on the Gimme Shelter Radio Show.